Mr. Chair, I yield back my time.
Thank you, Congressman Carbajal. We now proceed to Congressman Dr. Scott DesJarlais of Tennessee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, gentlemen, for being here today. General Rice, good to see you again. As you know, Tennessee has a strong Guard presence all across the state, and something we're very proud of. And our Air Guard, in particular, carried out an exceptional set of important missions that contribute to our national security on a daily basis. General James Hecker of the U.S. Central Command recently stated that we have 50% more MQ-9 drones providing ISR capabilities in Afghanistan than we had a year ago. For obvious reasons, RPAs have become very popular with our combatant commands, and the Air Force budget reflects that demand with its request to procure 8 peacetime and 21 OCO Reaper drones. So my question is, what does the combat line growth and procurement increase mean for National Guard RPA missions?
Thanks for that question, sir. And bottom line, thanks for your support, too, of our Guard. We can't do it alone. We need your help as we work hand in hand on how we present forces across the total force, Guard, Active, and Reserve. As far as RPA specific, it is a building block approach. So not only is it just the platforms to put up, but it's also the ground control stations and it's the processing, exploitation, and dissemination of the data. And so parts and pieces of that are growing in Tennessee, and we're putting in platforms, newer platforms of MQ-9s into Tennessee as we field those over the next few years. That's our part, that's our role right now, to expand that capability within the National Guard across all of our units that we have fielded, which includes Tennessee.
Okay. In follow-up to that, in regards to RPA launch and recovery elements, during the recent California wildfires, we saw firsthand the critical role RPAs can have in assisting first responders. How many domestic LREs do we currently have, and are there plans to prop up more LRE missions?
Our goal is to have 5 units with LREs. We have 2 at each one of our training units in New York in March, and then we have 3 other units that are receiving the launch and recovery elements too. Once we get to that level, I think we'll be able to maintain the weapon system for a while on a good balance between home station training and response in the homeland, as well as be able to deploy one of the 5 at any time to meet Air Combat Command missions.
We'd be happy to host one of those in Nashville, by the way.
Noted, sir. Duly noted.
And also, because we're on that subject, we'd love to have you back down to Tennessee soon, and I want to reiterate how perfectly situated the 164th is to host an Aeromed squadron, should there be mission growth in that area. General Noland, yesterday this group was at a Armed Services retreat, and Deputy Secretary of Defense Patrick Shanahan used an anecdote talking about the repair times for aircraft, and he gave an example of a Southwest airliner 737. If it had a part problem, I think he used a flap as an example, that could be procured, replaced, and the plane could be flying within 24 hours. But put that same 737 in a military skin, it may take 6 months just to get the part and 3 months to repair it. First of all, is that an accurate description? And if so, considering that 50% of our airplanes are in poor repair and not ready to fly, how do we solve that problem?
Thank you very much. It's an interesting question for me. I'm not positive, given the facts, that I can say if it's true or not true. Certainly we have unique part sets where our logistics system doesn't, where we sit, and we measure that, and remember we call it S time and then B time, which is technical term for how much we're sitting. Our older airplanes absolutely have part problems. Our WC-135s, our older boutique airplanes have logistics challenges. Some of our newer airplanes, as was pointed out, F-35, but for the most part, we've invested in weapon system sustainment. So our parts supply and our Defense Logistics Agency and our A4 is managing it, I would say, fairly well if you look at our metrics across. The other thing that we do in our small airplanes is we have what's called a CAN rate, which is where we take a part out and we take it and we move it. And right now, our cannibalization rate is very good. We're not doing that. So all indicators are across the majority of the fleet. We're looking pretty well. Our older airplanes, though, challenges.
Thank you. I yield back.